Hello, our people, and welcome to the Girl Boy Games podcast, where I, melthemaneater, aka melthemaneater, and you...
Lucas Leander? I thought you were going to say it.
I was saying you, like I'm talking to the viewer.
No, you introduced me. You introduced me.
And this guy, my lovely fiance, Lucas Leander, aka the Bearded Panda.
Hey, yo!
Discuss all things gaming with the occasional guest. If you want to, or that's a lie. If you want to, but if you enjoy us, which means you want to.
I'm confused.
If you enjoy what you're hearing, please drop us a follow on your preferred podcast platform. And if you want even more content, consider following us on YouTube at Girlboy Games, on our Twitter at girlboygamesyt, and our TikTok at girlboygamesyt for even more hilarious clips.
Good job. You hit the high
Thanks,
five. The
baby.
high five intro.
High five intro.
High five intro. So,
That's a whole high five.
what are we talking about today?
Today we're
talking about, I'm taking over this one. We're talking about Star Wars games. What else are we talking about?
So we're also going to, so our first topic is Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Second topic, we are going to be discussing Celeste, and the indie game, which, you know, a lot of people know and love, that we have been recently addicted to, very late in the game.
Yeah.
But we're addicted to it, so we decided that this was a great time to talk about Celeste and other indies we enjoy / are very hyped for, that are coming out, you know, this year. I don't think we have any on the list that come out next year. I think it's all. I think it's all this year releases, but don't quote me on that. And then aside from indie games, baby, what's the last thing that we are going to talk about today?
Mario movie, the Mario movie.
And so we just want to we will let everyone know when we are going to be talking about the Mario movie, because there will be spoilers. So before our Mario movie section of this podcast, I will let you guys know when we're starting. So those of you who have not seen the movie and want to and don't want to be spoiled can exit. But we won't be talking it until the very end of the podcast, so you do not need to worry.
So, Star Wars games.
Star Wars games. That's what we're talking about.
They're good.
They're
good.
good.
On to Celeste.
What?
That's our whole conversation.
So why are we talking about Star Wars games?
Okay, we're talking about Star Wars games. There's a little game coming out called Star
From
Wars.
a super small indie, you know.
Another indie game.
Really low budget.
This whole podcast is just indies.
No.
It's called Jedi Survivor. The sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, as many, everyone should know. Everyone should know this by now. And
what? I thought it was the sequel to Battlefront.
It is not the sequel to Battlefront. You'll be very disappointed when you're trying to shoot people and you can't.
And you can't.
But I wanted to go back through Star Wars games and just kind of talk about, like, reminisce about the old Star Wars games, what we want from Star Wars games.
What we want from this Star Wars game.
Yeah, specifically, first off, what we want from this Star Wars games, what improvements we want. Because here's the thing. When this game came out, I knew it was a big deal. But I didn't realize how big of a deal this game really was.
Yeah.
Because when we went to Disneyland, they had his lightsaber in there. And I thought that was insanely cool. Like, you can get a video game character's lightsaber next to, like, Darth Maul and, like, all these, like, iconic characters that, like, everyone knows. Obviously, not everyone knows who Cal is. And so it's pretty crazy that they're pushing it like that.
Which is why I gotta really give props to Disney, because obviously Disney owns Star Wars.
Yeah.
Ergo Star Wars Land. But I really think Cal wouldn't be getting the recognition that he deserves if it were not for Disney. Because Disney is so, like, make everything connect, like, we want to get as much, basically, I mean, obviously Disney wants money. Yeah. But and I'm okay with that though, because I freaking take my money. And so I feel like if Disney did not own Star Wars, I don't think we would ever get, like, I don't think a Star Wars video game character would get the recognition. I mean, just look at
never.
like what the one game, Force Awakens.
Force? You mean Force Unleashed?
That's what I meant.
Force Unleashed. Okay, so we'll get back to this game, but in the meantime, yes, this game, because of how Star Wars games work, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings games, right? You have Shadow of Mordor, where Talion's a good character, and that's a fantastic game, and people love that game, but it will never get like that. Like, Talion's not a part of the Lord of the Rings universe, and it's a spin-off, and it's never going to get that recognition. And the same thing happened with Force Unleashed, because they're just licensing.
That's a hard word to say.
That is a hard word.
Licensing.
Lysine?
Oh my
God.
Lice.
Like that. Oh my god, I can't say this word! Ah! They're basically just...
There's some issues.
they're just franchising now. I'll just say that, even though it's not the right word. I can't say the other one. They're franchising out the series where it's like, oh, you as a developer, you make this game for us to expand our brand and expand the story and stuff. And
but it's like expand
cool.
the story, but like not really.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's like you are expanding the story almost as if any other.
It's just a parallel universe.
Fan fiction, like parallel Star Wars universe, and I'm sure there's billions that have been made.
Yeah.
But and obviously it made Lucasfilm money to produce The Force Unleashed, but they never gave the main character in The Force Unleashed any, they never made him, this dude's a big deal. Granted, that game came out in, 2000?
Oh, that game came out back when Star Wars, when Disney bought Star Wars, they had to reorganize a lot of the story and cut out, they had to decide what they were going to cut out to trim the fat and what they were going to keep. And the whole Star Killer, who he's a clone and a apprentice to Darth Vader, all that stuff got cut out. That stuff is never coming back. And
unfortunate.
And it sucks. I did like Star Killer, and it was an interesting story and all that different stuff, and a little bit of a darker side to Star Wars. But yes, it's cool to see that's the positive thing. All right, the positive and negative thing about a big company owning a franchise is because you finally get this unity, this they're expanding and everything interconnects. You don't have to worry is this even an actual story, or is this just almost like fan fiction? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And it's fun, and this is a whole other topic for another time, but it's interesting to me because I feel like there have been so many times that and okay, don't quote me on this, but people have been man, I want to know, before the new trilogy came out or all these different Disney Star Wars movies came out.
Yeah.
There were so many people that were man, I just want to know what the other planets were like. I just want to know, I want more Star Wars. I want them to expand, but that's just never going to happen. And then, you need money to do something you need a lot of freaking money to expand on a universe that much. And so then Disney buys Star Wars
ready.
And they're ready, and they're we're expanding, and everyone's no.
Well, the reason why is because Disney has a tendency to play things a little bit safe.
They Disney-fy things. They can Disney-fy
things. And sometimes when there's things like Star Wars, where there is somewhat of a grit and somewhat of a deeper storytelling to the original Star Wars, they kind of want to stay away from that and make it a little more fluffy, with the new trilogy.
I guess I will say the new trilogy might have been a little bit more humorous, but I still think the story had a good amount of grit, and I also don't think that applies always, because just look at Rogue One.
Well, yeah, but I feel that's I'm talking about the mainline stories. They like to make those.
Rogue One is mainline though.
It is mainline, but it's a spin-off movie. You know what I'm saying? It's a one-off movie. It's not a main trilogy movie. It's not episode 10 Star Wars. Episode 10 Star Wars, maybe now they'd make it serious, but I can tell you what, until they learned the lesson from the new trilogy, there was no possibility something like that was going to be like Rogue One. Rogue One to them's if it fails, it fails. It's okay. But Disney and their we're getting into a whole different topic, but Disney and with needing to be beholden to shareholders and public opinion and wanting to make things kid friendly and overly and stuff.
I think they're finally starting to detach themselves with from that though.
Kind
like
of.
slowly. I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight, but I feel like with like obviously people have said their piece about the new Star Wars trilogy,
Yeah.
whether or not it was enjoyable or not, like about like the Disney-fied version.
Yeah.
And I think all of it, like Rogue One, all around, I have not heard of one person badmouth Rogue One.
Yeah, everyone loves Rogue One.
And also Andor.
Oh,
And it is
when
a
it goes
success.
more serious, it gets so much better when it feels a little bit like not like the first trilogy was super serious, but like it was a little more serious.
It was
than,
a little bit more serious, and then and the Mandalorian, like
Mandalorian, I would say is still very goofy.
It is goofy. But okay, the first season of Mandalorian though was kick ass.
No, I'm not saying they're not kick ass. I'm saying there's a lightheartedness to it, where it almost feels like you're watching Clone Wars.
But anyways,
my last thing. Wait, there is one more thing I want to say about Star Wars.
Okay.
Is that another reason why it's sometimes hard to trust big companies like that is that like I think about I've heard recently, and I'm not sure this is completely true, but that what's his name who worked on Mandalorian, the main director, I'm forgetting, John Favreau.
Yeah.
John Favreau. He I think he's leaving after, and I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal's leaving after this season, and I think that shows because Pedro Pascal's having issues with the creative side of Disney, and usually with like actors that big, they have a big trust in the directors. And so when a director starts faltering, the actors start wanting to leave
and Jon
because
Favreau's
it's tied.
just amazing.
Yes,
like,
because
he's so great.
When you have a great director, it brings the best out of the actors. If you have a bad director and a bad direction, there's nothing the actor can do. So when the actor sees that the direction could be wrong, the directors are starting to want to leave and stuff, it makes the actors want to jump ship.
I will say, I don't know if Jon Favreau's leaving, because they just had their big announcement with like they're further expanding the Star Wars universe in the past, present, and future, and Jon Favreau's, at least that they said, Jon Favreau's involved.
This is what I was about to say, is that he said he was so frustrated he just wanted to leave Mandalorian and just work on Ahsoka. They wouldn't say he wanted to leave Star Wars. He just didn't want to work on Mandalorian because that story. So what he wanted to do was Grogu leaves to be a Jedi. And then they skip a bunch of time, not a ton of time, but they skip a bunch of time. Yeah. And they are apart. Like Mandalorian and the Grogu are apart. And then they like meet back up and stuff. And it's like this like emotional thing and all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
But then I think like this the head of like the Star Wars branch of Disney, she like forcefully made it so that in Book of Boba Fett, Grogu reaccompanies Mandalorian. And so this is what I've heard. I'm gonna end the. I've heard this. I don't know if it's true. It's adding up with everything that's happening, and with just how this new season Mandalorian is just like kind of going all over the place. They're kind of setting stuff up, kind of not. But I will digress as we need to talk about the games.
I know.
This is a games one.
Oh
my god. This is the games about the game.
Sorry.
No, I like talking about it.
I know.
If you guys want to listen, let's keep talking about it. So.
No. We could talk forever about Star Wars and like the movies.
Yeah, listen to our other podcast, Boy Girls Games Star Wars Edition, where it's all about Star Wars.
That isn't real. Don't go look.
Yeah, do not go look for that. We do not have that. Maybe one day. Not.
You know what
not,
is
not
also not real is our not real sponsor, Zevia.
Oh, you're going back to the Zevia sponsor.
Well, originally we did.
Oh, it was Olipop.
We did Olipop last time.
Yeah, we outed Olipop.
Yeah, because they didn't sponsor us.
Too much yogurt. Too much yogurt.
Anyways, to our not real sponsor, Zevia, every juicy, delicious taste that you could possibly want from soda, but healthier for you. And for me and Lucas, normal soda gives us phlegm, but Zevia does not. Because it doesn't have all the sugar. It's made from stevia leaf extract.
And you're going in on this ad.
I enjoy it very much. And that, Zevia, is what it would look like if you sponsored us. You ain't never seen Zevia in the gaming industry before.
I'm nodding my head, yeah. I'm down. We could be the first Zevia gamers.
Yeah.
They got Zevia energy drinks?
They do.
Just drop like some like, I don't know, Diablo mix.
Zevia energy.
That would be kind of crazy.
I don't know.
I'd buy 10 cans of that.
Okay, we're also
Slam them at once.
We're also
1,000 milligrams pulsing through me. Diablo, Reaper, 1,000 different skeletons going off. That sounds awesome. But Jedi Survivor. Okay, so this game, I have such a weird relationship with this game.
I mean, we've talked about it before. I share your same sentiment.
Yes, because I would go through moments of like, I cannot wait to play this game. Then the next day be like, I honestly
I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm afraid. Or I don't give a shit. I don't want to.
I think my mood on this game does change every single day.
Every single day.
I wake up and I'm like, I'm not even gonna buy Jedi Survivors. And then
I'm like, deluxe? Deluxe? Look like Obi-Wan? They got the Obi-Wan outfit? I need that.
And then it's like the middle of the day and I'm like, maybe I like Jedi Survivors, but I'm still like on the fence about it. Some of the gameplay trailers have seemed a little jank.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me, is that like impressions wise, people have said positive things, but from the trailers, which are supposed to be tailored like experiences, tailored like gameplay viewage, there's always something like, there's usually 2 or 3 things
movement
we can pull out that's like his body just like slides there, or like I don't know, like something about his movement that looks a little unpolished.
And it's not necessarily like the graphics or anything like that bothers me. Yeah. It's always the way he moves. It's kind of like like it's like super like, granted I love like more fluid like gaming and fluid movement. So when I see like, and that's the thing, I'm not saying that this game won't have fluid movement, but at least from the gameplay trailers that they have released, it looks a little janky, but that is not what I've heard from people who have played the game, which is why I'm like, and people are like, oh, it's just the gameplay trailer. You can't judge a game off the gameplay trailer. And I'm like, well, what's the point of a gameplay trailer? I'm like, what's the point?
And that's the weird thing about this game, is I can say, even with the Fallen Order, like that game does feel pretty darn good when you go back to it. And so I feel like this might be one of those cases where it looks a little jank, then you play it, you're like, oh, this is fine. Like, like maybe even does look a tiny bit jank, but you're like, it doesn't honestly affect the gameplay, and it still feels really good. And that's what I'm hoping for. You know what? I'm just happy. Man, don't got a poncho no more. Oh my god, I don't think you know about Poncho Gate. Everyone hated the poncho. They were like, gate. Oh, we're going to make him look special. Poncho, you can't change it. It was horrible. And then, can we talk about the fact that this dude ran like he had a stick up his butt? Not a stick. I'm sorry, not a stick. He had a broomstick. No,
I'm sorry. He had a light post up his butt.
He had a light pole just
right up in there.
No, like honestly, it wasn't great.
Okay, I will say I think it's improved, but like even in that, like I don't know, like when I saw him running in the trailer, it was still kind of like,
it wasn't perfect.
Usually when someone runs, they're like, like but like when he runs, he's like
when Kratos runs, like it's not that fast, but like you feel the power, like this heavy weight's coming to kick your ass, like you feel that power. When Sonic runs, gotta go fast.
When Cal runs, it's like, your lightsaber's up your butt, isn't it?
Gotta shit my ass.
Gotta shit my ass.
No,
on my way to shit my ass.
No, but like honestly, this game does look fun. I don't want to like hate on it. Like,
I know.
This honestly, after what we just said, that is the last of my complaints.
Yes,
when I play,
yes.
Okay, no, it's not. God, I'm backpedaling, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna backpedal a little more. There is one issue I had with the first game. It isn't an actual issue. It's
with the first game, not this
game.
The
first game. This is what I'm worried about with this game. Is that something about the gameplay mechanics or the game itself? It's one of the few games that like I got like 70% into, and I was like, this game's a little too long. Like it could end right now, and I'd be happy. Like it would be a great. Like I kind of don't want to play the rest of it, and I had to force myself to beat it a little bit. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, this is great, it's awesome. And I'm hoping that like with now they're gonna have like 5 or 6 different lightsabers, and you can have 2 at a time, and
Yeah.
adding all these different things. I'm
To
hoping,
like, if the game is that long, you don't feel it.
yes, or I can be like, you know what? I'm gonna just switch up my playstyle. Instead of having dual lightsabers and a normal one, I'm gonna have like the broadsword one and like the Darth Maul style, like double edged one, and it like really changes how you play a little bit more.
Well, and I feel like that's something that can be said about AAA gaming and just newer big games in general is people for a while were like, I want more of this game. And but like, and if your game is good, yes, like more is better.
Yeah.
Most of the time. But there are some games that it's like, man, this game would be a freaking 10 out of 10 if I didn't feel like I was dragging my feet through the last 10 hours.
And honestly,
you know,
if AAA games made their content more like they made it more deliberate. If they made their extra content, instead of just being like more game or more side quests, like I'm gonna make a video about this sometime. Time trials, like the fact that Resident Evil 4, that whole game isn't super long. It's like it's a decent sized game. You beat it, you have a great time, and if you want to play more, they have Mercenaries mode, which is like this time trial mode that people are raving about how fun it is. It's just so fun, and just having these other like gauntlet modes, wave modes, different side stories, all these different stuff.
Yeah.
They help add content in different ways.
Yeah, there are ways to expand a game without expanding its mainline story with like fluff, you know?
Yes.
Or like just kind of lengthening it, and so it's not as jam packed, and so you're like why am I in this like lull of a game? Like what? And so I think that if they could make this game either not feel like we're dragging our feet through the last part of it, or like it's so jam-packed that you're like, I'm okay that this game is, I don't know, 100 hours, like something like that, like whatever amount of time it takes to beat this game. Because it's just that like exciting, and just that like you're just that in the game. So you want to keep playing more. You want to get to the end of the game, no matter what stage of the game you are in.
And that's what I'm most excited about this game, is that it's Star Wars, right? Yes. There's certain universes that I just get sucked, like the Hogwarts Legacy game, right? I just get sucked in because it's about Harry Potter, right? If there was a Lord of the Rings, Elden Ring game that we were talking about recently, we want that. But if that was a thing, I get sucked in. I love the Lord of the Rings. It's the same thing with Star Wars,
and
where
the
it's
Gollum
like
game does not count.
Get the Gollum game out of here. Get that stealth game out of here. I don't want stealth. I want to murder everything in my sight.
They wants to be Gimli.
I want to be Gimli. I want to be counting my kills. But Star Wars is something that I just get engrossed into, and so that's what I'm looking forward to with this. I think that's what most people are looking forward to in this game, and there are things that like I'm super excited. I'm so glad you can customize him. This is dude with a beard I think he looks sick now. I think without a beard, obviously he was in the beginning of the story, but he looked a little kiddish. Now he looks like he's just like, man, I've been a Jedi, bro. Yeah. I've been a Jedi. I've been doing my shit.
The actor himself does and like kudos to the actor. Man's gonna look young forever.
Yeah, I know, right?
It takes a lot for a white person to look like that.
Man.
Like that good, as you get older, you know? And so the fact, like, he's got a young face. And so I think the addition of facial hair definitely helped.
Yes, he looks way more distinguished, way more worn. I think the customization of him, and I forget what the little droid's name is, but him and the droid, super looking forward to that. Looking forward to choosing my lightsaber color.
Yes.
And I just want this game, because it's not open world. It is just like wide linear, you have like just very wide levels that you can explore deeply,
which I'm excited for.
I just want the story to be like on point. That's what I want most. And then I want the combat to be fluid. I want it to be fluid. I want to progress really well, and by the end of it be like, god damn, I'm powerful. Like by the end of Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, obviously you're not gonna be that powerful. In Force Unleashed, you could pull out like the Empire ship from space. You can pull it down to the planet. You will not be that powerful. But if you evoke that power,
All I'm saying is there's that one cutscene where like he like jumps on the ship and then he like uses the force to like yeet a stormtrooper out of the pilot seat. I was like,
that was amazing.
if that is an interactive cutscene,
It is. 100%
I'm going
has
to lose my like. That's
great.
gonna be so good. And so I'm excited for stuff like that because God of War made me love interactive cutscenes.
Yes,
like,
yes.
oh my god. Like, and so the idea of having that but in Star Wars just makes me so excited.
Yeah. What is your prediction rating wise?
Ooh. There's like the part of me that wants to be like
personal and like what you think critically, like what people.
Okay. So my personally, I think out of what, like 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with simple ones.
So personally, I think this is going to be I'm going to say this is going to be a 7 out of 10 game for me.
Okay.
For me.
Okay, yeah. And guys, okay, you got to level with us here. We rate games a little bit more harshly because we feel like 8s are just thrown around nowadays. And so a 7 is like,
that means something.
it's just a good game. It's just a good game. You should play it. It is a good game.
Yeah.
If you're not interested, don't play it. You know, it's like that.
And that's what the mix of like that kind of, because, and that's a personal rating, 7 out of 10, because that kind of movement is not something that I'm used to in a game.
Okay.
And so I think it's going to be a little weird for me, but who knows, I could love it. Like, this could change. This is just my prediction based off of what we've seen so far. And so I think it's going to be a personal 7 out of 10. I think it is going to be a critical...
Wait, how are we rating this? Are you rating it critically, or
no? Like I like how everyone how
ain't
it
no
just
shot.
does.
This isn't like an 8.
I was gonna say like I think it might be a 9. I kind of want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
I think I'm thinking like Metacritic, so that's out of 100, I guess.
That's true.
So I'm thinking it's gonna get like,
I'll give it like an 8.5.
I think 86 out of 100. I think on Metacritic. I 8.5. I agree with that. You know what I think this game's gonna be for me? A solid like 7 or 9. It's gonna be like, yes, I think
those are two very different ratings.
I don't know, because I think the last game was like a 7.5 for me, and I feel like really you either nail the things that I wanted changed and like I liked about the first game, and it becomes a 9, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of more of the same and there are minor improvements and it stays a 7.5.
Well, and then that's what I guess. Okay, then I'm gonna change my answer. If you're giving two different answers. Well, no, but like, because I kind of want to say. So I think that this is going to be a 7 out of 10 game for me.
Yeah.
But I do think it's Star Wars. I haven't played a lot of AAA games.
Okay, I see where you're going here.
I love Star Wars, and I could, if the movement is there and I can get used to it and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think this could be a 10 out of 10 game for me.
Damn.
I wouldn't put. I have a huge love for Star Wars and a huge love for the actor who plays the main guy.
Hey, yo, get up my girl. No, I was supposed to keep going, sorry.
Oh my God.
Just joking. But you love the actor, yeah.
Yeah, I love the actor, and I just think there are a lot of things about this game that I'm like, and it's not open world. And that's what excites, because I get overwhelmed by open worlds. Like, I'm going to play Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm probably going to enjoy the shit out of it. I'm afraid I'll get overwhelmed, because open world games overwhelm me, because I feel like, and specifically with how like some open world games do open world like Elden Ring. Elden Ring, very good at, like, if you want to stay on track, you can. Yeah. But with specifically Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it was just the biggest open-ended freaking like game, and I was also newer to gaming at the time, and yada yada yada. But I feel like that this game is because it's going to be linear with just really wide, like, in large areas for you to explore while you are going through the game. I think I'm going to really like that.
Yeah, I think some games just, I think eventually, of course, I want like an open world Star Wars where it's like, or maybe not open. You can't really do Star Wars game open world because usually you always have multiple planets. So maybe like open zone. So it's like you have 4 different planets you can explore, and they're like, or like 2 or 3 different planets you can explore, and they're like 2 or 3 big maps, right? Okay, but this is not what I want from this experience. At least right now, I'm so happy with a lot of the open world games like Elden Ring I played that I kind of am excited for like just tailored experiences like Jedi Survivor, like Final Fantasy 16. I'm excited to just like, you just play this game that you're supposed to be progressing in a certain way, a certain power. Like I'm also very excited for that.
But moving on from what
Jedi
we think,
Survivor.
Jedi Survivor is going to be like.
Let's talk about like Star Wars games.
Yes, other than this Star Wars game,
like Lego Star Wars.
Oh man. So we figured we wanted to give a little bit of our like takes on Star Wars games, what games we played in the past.
Yeah.
And so my first Star Wars game that I ever played was on the PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. It was the original Lego Star Wars. I think it was like the not Skywalker Saga. I can't remember what the official name is. I just know it was Lego Star Wars for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And oh man, I would play this game right now and be so happy. I could play this game for the rest of the day.
That's true.
So at one point, we lost the SD card for the PlayStation, and or the memory card or whatever. And so when you would play, you couldn't save.
Oh, I remember like Jonas talking about that and stuff.
So, but before Jonas is my younger brother. Before Jonas did it, it was me and Justice would speed run the game. Like we did speed running before we knew what speed running was. Yeah. Because we were like, all right,
we can't beat it.
We can't save, so we start from the beginning and go through the whole game. And I think we did it one time.
Only one time?
I think it's a
long game, yeah.
It's kind of a long game.
Yeah, you have to probably play like almost all day.
Yeah,
as
pretty
kids.
much.
At least as kids, we're playing together too.
I just distinctly remember our mom, like forever ago, like our mom was like, oh, it's dinner time or something like that, and we were on the level where Obi-Wan and Anakin are like fighting in the lava
and you
area.
Were like, no
we were like,
way.
Sorry, not sorry. We're not coming to dinner right now.
No way.
Like, we can't save.
Yeah.
And so we could pause, but like we were afraid, like no one turn off the PlayStation.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
Oh, I would have been so mad. Anyways, so that was my first introduction into like Star Wars games, and then I actually have some experience with The Force Unleashed.
Hey yo, you're just skipping over my Lego.
I'm not. I'm still giving over my history.
I thought we were going like game by game. I thought we were doing like, okay, you can say your whole history on all the games. I just wanted to. I thought we were gonna be like Lego, then Unleashed, then Unleashed.
Okay, you go ahead.
I just wanted to,
Well, yeah, we can do that.
I was pod racer. That's it. in the one you're talking about, right? With the pod racing. Mm-hmm. That's literally the only thing I have from Lego Star Wars. It's just that. Like, just that being so freaking hard. It was so hard. And then beating it and be like, oh, thank God, and never playing it again. I was never
like the
huge.
Hardest level.
Yeah, like I was never huge into Lego games. I feel like because they're really fun with people. Not that they're not fun by themselves, but like it's extra fun with people. Like you playing the new Lego Star Wars game with you is fun. Yeah. But like by myself back in the day, like I tried playing like Lego Batman. I played a lot of Lego Batmans actually. Yeah. And I could never really get into the Lego games.
I grew up with Lego games, so like I got Lego Star Wars was the first Lego game I ever had. Yeah. And then the second Lego game was Lego Indiana Jones for the Xbox 360 when that came out, because that was one of the games that like
Indiana Jones.
It came with the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
I think that and like the Kung Fu Panda game.
Let's go!
Like I think they were. I played both of them.
11 out of 10. Top 10 games to ever game.
Top 10 games to ever game.
Easy.
And so. Yeah, so that was that's why I like Lego games so much. But specifically Lego Star Wars, the original one for the PlayStation 2, was fire.
Yeah.
It was just a good game. But anyways, you go ahead now.
Oh, about Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, what I wanted to say was I'm surprised that you have, so much experience with Force Unleashed because like I don't know, like it's just a game that like I know people played, but I just assume that like no one played. I don't know. I play a lot of games that like either no one played or only
for
like
his age.
Yeah, or like only adults played.
Like
and
he
teenagers.
played the original like God of Wars 1, 2, and 3, like as an elementary schooler.
Yeah, so like games that like most people definitely didn't play until like middle school, high school. I was playing in like elementary school, and so I just assumed because it was a little more violent and stuff and a little darker story. I just assumed. And none of my friends I knew played
spicy.
It. Well, a lot of spicy.
Y'all don't even know about the God of War.
Oh wait, you're talking about God of War. I'm talking about Jedi.
Oh.
Force Unleashed.
I was just talking about games that you played that no one else played.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a little spicy, but I skipped those parts. Okay, I was in elementary school. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I know you didn't.
What? I said I did.
You're telling me as like a 12-year-old boy with like mature freaking
okay.
hormones.
I also was not like that type of a kid. I wasn't. What I mean like that is I wasn't like some. Oh, I'm a goody two shoes. Like I wasn't like that. It was just like I wasn't that interested in that stuff. It took me a while to get that. It wasn't there when I was playing those games. That wasn't there. It was more just like.
You're just well,
this is weird. like
why is this in God of War?
Yeah, like back to killing like skyscraper monsters. Like I don't know why am I saying this right now.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed was about a guy named Star Killer. Like that name, it's both so badass and so dumb at the same time. You know what I mean? Because you don't even give him a real name. Everyone else has a real name, and they call him Star Killer. But it's so badass that it doesn't even matter. And so, yeah,
Well, it's like I feel like that is definitely like a 2000s age.
Oh yeah,
like kick-ass name.
Like let's just name him something cool.
Star Killer.
We can name him like Augustus or like something, just some cool name, but no, they're like no, Star Killer.
No, and 8-year-old versions of all of us were like, hell yeah. Like,
and the best part about Force Unleashed is that they had it on 360, PS3, DS, and PSP. And like the versions were a little bit different, but like the fact it was on all of those consoles, I remember playing it on PSP and like. That was honestly now I'm thinking about it. That's like easily top 3 best games by far on PSP. That was so good.
Well, and we the way I played it was on the DS because that's what we had, and so it was actually Justice's game, and he would never shut up about it. And so I would I would watch him play sometimes, and then I tried playing it myself. And I never really got into it. At least that's not the kind of games I liked when I was that age. But I did like watching. And I tried. It was too hard of a game for me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I do remember it, and I do remember what it looks like in the combat and stuff like that. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think that not enough people talk about Force Unleashed.
Definitely not. I think people don't talk about it. Even though it was epic, it felt like the God. Honestly, this is a perfect comparison. The God of War, Star Wars. Honestly, like that was like I'm talking about God of War 1, God of War 2, God of War 3. Like it had the same kind of gameplay loop as God of War. Like even though it was so good, because we know for a fact we will never get another one of those games. Star Killer will never show up. I think. It's just like why we've been talking about this for a lot of people. It would be so cool if they were just like, you know what, fuck it, we'll find a way to put him in there. We will tweak his storyline and we'll reintroduce him. Okay, you know what? Now let's get the conversation going again. You know what I mean? Okay, you know what?
Bring back Star Killer.
That's a topic right now. That's a topic right now. How do we bring back Star Killer?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We need like a Twitter hashtag.
Maybe. Okay, so they're trying to fix
Star Killer.
Justice for Star Killer. Bring hashtag bring Starkiller back.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to figure out all this stuff with like cloning Palpatine and the Snokes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What if he was somehow okay, I actually don't know where I'm going with this, honestly. I'm like trying to come up with something.
You're like, what if there's Darth Vader and Palpatine?
What
and then
if
Starkiller's there?
Starkiller fought Mandalorians?
Oh my god.
Just like a crazy fan. I'm trying to think of like how he could maybe somehow he's connected to Darth Maul. And like Darth Maul's whole Darth Maul has a crazy huge crime syndicate. Like if you know like the Star Wars lore, he has his own thing. He's like, I'm done being a Sith. All these people who betrayed me. I'm creating my own crime syndicate. And maybe you could just have the same story kind of with Darth Vader, but instead it's with Darth Maul.
Oh.
That could be crazy. And then you get to explore the whole crime syndicate. You get to explore what Darth Maul's doing. The thing is, I'm sure that Darth Maul's like backstory is probably written out completely already. There's probably like books and stuff like that. But somewhere, or maybe you do the best thing. Oh my god, I just came with the best idea, guys. Everyone. Oh, you guys, be quiet. Everyone be quiet. Everyone listening, be quiet.
If you're listening, be quiet.
If you're listening, be quiet. Because I'm not going to backpedal here. We're going forward.
Okay,
We're going forward.
Going forward.
You mix Star Wars Survivor and Force Unleashed. You have him be a part of these games.
Oh, of Jedi Survivor?
Yes, and he could be like because the whole thing was he was conflicted if he wanted to be a Sith or not. And that can be what happens, and then Cal's trying to convince him, and they become like, I don't know if they're
best friends.
I don't know if in this game he has a nemesis.
Yeah.
But either story would be great. Either they become best friends,
or they become like the greatest enemies.
Yes, they become like Rey and Kylo, like Luke and Darth Vader.
Okay, but
like
Rey and Kylo kiss.
Well, yeah, they eventually come they eventually I don't say combine. They eventually they're on the same side. But I mean, like that was the back and forth for most of the movies, right?
Yeah.
And you could have that with Starkiller. Or you could just have it be like he's trying to convince him. And then for a while he is buddies, and then he gets twisted and he like betrays him, or
man.
Or like there's some like miscommunication. Then next thing you know, it's like it's just too broken and they have to fight or something. There is so many cool ways that you could just like, let's just completely rewrite this character and then just make it hype for fans. Am I wrong?
Hashtag bring back Starkiller.
Hashtag bring back Starkiller. Let's go. I'm so down for that. Oh my god, that has me excited. You can see I'm pumped right now. I'm ready to go right now.
I can tell.
I'm ready to cosplay Starkiller.
Oh my god.
You know how insane that'd be? Shave my head. Obviously, I'm not. He's hella pale. But shave my head, get the dual lightsabers, get his outfit on. Oh, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna buy this game on Steam. I'm going crazy right now. You know what? We're gonna prepare for Star Wars Survivor. I'm gonna get this game for like $10 on Steam, and we're gonna test it out. I'll report back next week, next podcast.
All right.
Okay, now on to the next game.
On to the next game.
I can see obviously you're like, I don't know what to say right now.
I am like, oh, this.
Okay.
Don't shave your head, please.
It's for the content.
No.
It's for the content.
Okay, fine. I'll shave my head.
Hey yo. Sound kind of good. Well, you already did once. You didn't shave it, but like you had a pixie.
Yeah.
You look nice.
I did it twice.
Yeah, you look really nice.
Well, in that case.
Knights of the Old Republic. Do you know anything about this game?
Nope.
Okay, so I have to explain. So if you guys don't know, Knights of the Old Republic basically, it was just a Star Wars MMO. And it was huge. It was huge. People love this game.
Until they didn't.
You know, like any other game, it just eventually falls out of popularity or whatever. I'm sure there's probably downfalls that I don't know about because I didn't play it back in the day. But this game covered, to me, the most interesting part of all of Star Wars history, and I always talk about it.
He does,
and I will continue to keep talking about it
until this will not be the only time he talks about this.
Because they're saying they're gonna make movies for it, and they better make them. They better be good. They better be like Rogue One, or Andor, whatever. It was during a period of time when there was thousands of Jedi and thousands of Sith, and they were battling in this huge war, and that is just so interesting and so much cooler than their
That
only.
just sounds dope as hell.
Yeah, that just sounds like a child was like, what if like instead of just having 2 Jedi, there was a bajillion, and it happened.
Like imagine like that giant war scene from The Hobbit.
Yes.
But it's all Jedi
Right.
and Sith.
Yes, all. Oh my god.
And this
that
like
sounds so good.
AT whatever
Yeah.
something T I can never remember.
ATTTs.
Yep.
ATTTVV. But yeah, that period of time is so interesting, and so for me personally, honestly, another MMO I'd be fine with. I'd be fine with another MMO. That'd be cool.
A Star Wars MMO?
Yeah.
If it was well done, I'd be about it.
I'd also be down for like another kind of game, either a game like Force Unleashed. That's where you bring in the Force Unleashed more arcadey combat game.
Yeah.
You're fighting all these Sith. You have all this combat variety, and I'm pretty sure in the past the technology was even crazier. Crazy technology. You have all these Sith, all these different enemy variety. You have aliens. You have. This is not adding up.
It is. Gotta go pitch it to Disney now.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
But moving on from Knights of the Old Republic.
Where do you want to see Star Wars go?
Well, there's one more game.
There is.
Battlefront.
Oh, okay. I can see like you want to talk bad about
I'm
that.
not talking about Battlefront.
I'm sorry, man.
Okay, Battlefront. I did not play the campaign. Oh no, that's a lie. I did.
Yeah.
I played like one very specific level of the campaign, and we did it over and over and over and over and over again.
Why?
Because it was fun.
Oh, really?
Because it was the
battle.
People are gonna think I don't know anything about Star Wars talking about this. It was the first Battlefront game.
Is it the snow one, the Battle of Hoth?
No, it was not. I did play that one actually.
Okay.
But no, I'm talking about.
I might be saying the planet wrong. I know you know it's Hoth. I don't know if that's the right
Hoth
planet.
is a planet.
I know. I just don't know if that's like the forest one or if that's the ice one. But
I'm talking about the forest one.
Okay.
I don't remember what the forest one is called.
Okay.
Don't call me a fake fan.
Yeah.
But it was the forest one. You know where like Leia and them are like on the. They're not pod racers. They're like the the white. Like kind of like the motorcycles of the ships that like
the little motorcycle racers,
and that
the Imperials use and stuff.
Yeah, and it wasn't stormtroopers. It was like they're stormtroopers, but like they have a different name for the forest
is it like
area, like where they're getting chased and stuff in that. And so there was a level in Star Wars Battlefront where you have to like drive super fast.
This is added
through the forest.
Only my fiance, the love of my life, would find a first-person shooter Star Wars game and turn it into Mario Kart. Only she would, and that's why I love her. That's why I love her. She loves racing that much.
So
she loves
fun.
the thrill of competition that much. I think I remember like vaguely that and being like, whoa.
I want to play it like
crazy.
Right now. I will.
Let's stop the podcast. Bye, guys.
No, I'm gonna go play Star Wars Mario Kart. No, it was like, and it was great because it was multiplayer. So me and Justice would just like go on and hop on, and then like it was hard though. Oh my god! Well, part of the reason we had to do it over and over and over again is because we kept losing.
You couldn't even finish it.
We kept blowing up or something because we ran into a rock.
Yeah.
But it was so freaking fun, and
Wow.
I want to play it again. But also, aside from that, there was the Call of Duty looking side of Battlefront, which like
was most of the game.
Which was most
she
of
said
the
this
game.
Side of Battlefront. That was the whole game.
I'm talking about the multiplayer. I'm talking about the online multiplayer part of the game, which I wish I was more into first-person shooters
Back
or was
then.
better at them, really.
Now I think you go crazy.
I think I would go
Battlefront.
nuts
You
on
would love
Battlefront.
that.
I think I'd love it. I just wasn't. Battlefront came out during a time when I wasn't as into first-person shooters, and I also just was not good at them.
Yeah.
Now, I go freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I would love y'all make another Battlefront, please. Give me a new
Battlefront
a next
Battle
gen.
Royale.
I would kill myself.
I'm so done with Battle Royale.
I would literally kill myself.
I'm so done. No more new ones.
But if they could make like a next gen Battlefront, I would be so happy. I
Yeah.
loved Battlefront. I loved everything about Battlefront. And I think thinking on it now makes me sad that I wasn't as into gaming when Battlefront was a thing.
Yeah.
Because I think like it would be one of those like legacy games for me that I just like love forever.
And I think there's a reason why Battlefront it's had a hard path, the newer Battlefronts, because if I remember right, the first one, I think there was just I might be kind of talking off the cuff, but I think there was like content issues where there actually wasn't like as much there, and there's just issues with that game in general. Then when they made Battlefront 2, I think it was during that period of time when every single game in their mom was like having monetization issues, where it was like, buy these skin boxes for $15 a box to get the Rey skin, or like I can't remember what it was, but I just remember each of the games so far has had like issues that the community like could not get over. They fixed it like too late, and I'm just hoping. I just want a battle. I'm hoping right now because they're doing real good right now. Battlefront game that is just
clean.
It's just slapping. Maybe hear me out. You PlayStation and Disney team up exclusive Battlefront 3 on PS5. That's how you combat Call of Duty. Can you really combat Call of Duty? Not really. But like I think that'd be they already do partnerships with like Marvel and Spider-Man and stuff. I would say that'd be the next step. That would be a good step.
Yeah.
You get your own like first-person shooter you can only get on PlayStation. Maybe PC. I think that'd be good.
I'm about that life.
So last part of this to wrap this conversation up. What Star Wars game do you want? Like most off, like out of the ones we haven't listed. You can also say like Battlefront 3 if you want, or like
I want Battlefront 3.
Done. Okay.
I want Battlefront 3 and then this is me just like daydreaming.
Yeah.
But I actually was kind of disappointed with the new Lego Star Wars. I felt like they have a new mechanic system and like all this different stuff. I loved I have no complaints about the original Lego Star Wars game for the PlayStation 2. Literally zero.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
And so I guess, and that's just like, of course, my nostalgia brain of like wanting that just up-resed.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted it to be remade and that's it, but not like mechanics, anything changed. I just wanted it to look nicer.
Yeah, like they completely remade the levels and like summarized them. You want it like just like
same
games.
They got rid of like
remake.
I played that game so many times. I remember all of the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And so I remember we were playing and I was like, "What? It's different." Like, and so that was little depressing for me. But if I want that, they do have the original game. It's just on, I think it's on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, and like it is a little bit sad, because like there was so much crunch for that game, and like the developers, they spoke out about like, man, they pushed us like to get this game out, and like it wasn't even exactly what they wanted to push out. The stuff you're talking about though is like that wasn't a crunch issue. That's just like how they decided to make the game.
And
but
that's
like
fine. It was still very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I really like all of the 2000s Legos games. Like because it's not just Star Wars. It was also Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Harry Potter, like
Lego Lord of the Rings, Lego
good games. Like the way they worked, it was just fun. Like it wasn't like whereas like now, like and even if they were janky, it didn't feel like that. Whereas now, I feel like these new Star Wars games almost are a little more janky.
Well, I feel like Lego, it went through its golden era, where now it's like, it's going through its own thing of like rediscovery of like, what is a Lego game?
Yeah.
But like, it went through its like, it found out what it needed to do, people loved it, and they milked it until, it wasn't even an issue of like, the games aren't quality anymore. It was just an exhaustion of the market plus... just honestly, like, you can't make any more Harry Potter games. You made every single Harry Potter. You made every single Star Wars. You made every single Lord of the Rings. You made you've made all the big IPs. What's next?
How many other brand deals can you make?
I think next probably Disney. But I don't know if Disney is
Lego
about that
Disney
life.
games would be cool.
Yeah, if they did like all of like like 3 of the old princesses, you go through their stories and in Lego and stuff.
See, for me, I'm not even thinking about the princesses. I'm thinking about, like... And, of course, this is also nostalgia brain. But I'm like, man, if they could, like, do, like, a Jungle Book game really well. That, like... So, or just some more of their adventure. Like,
Okay.
adventure. Like, less... Like, obviously, the princess movies, yes, they are about adventure or whatever. But I kind of want more of the, like Lego Toy Story.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
that would be
yeah.
cool. And so, Lego Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, oh my god.
That would be dope.
That would be great.
But anyway, aside from Lego, we're not talking about Lego, we're talking about Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a new Battlefront 3. That
New
is
Battlefront 3.
next-gen Battlefront 3. That is my wish list.
What I want, which we won't get, but it's what I want. It's not Starkiller. It's not.
I was gonna say, I swear if you just...
That's gonna be my addition, but it's not Starkiller. What it is so they're gonna eventually make episode 10, and it's gonna be based off of Rey and her restarting the Order. What I want is a game that is based off that. It's based off you. Now we're going into the future. Rey is trying to rebuild the Order, and you're a Jedi under her, and you're helping her. And you're helping the stomp out, because obviously the whole reason for the plot was like, you know, you had the Republic, and the Republic got replaced with the Empire, and then when they replaced it with the Republic again, the Republic just fell into its old ways, which then of course allowed it to fall again to get taken over by the New Order, right? And so you're trying as this new Jedi Order to not relive the past, you know, mistakes and stuff. And so you're going around, you're stomping out like dark force, like Sith influences.
I would love like that, but like a Hogwarts Legacy like version of that.
So you're learning to be a Jedi.
Not necessarily you're learning to be a Jedi, but make it not a main character. Like make it like there's a character creator. Like you get to build your own Jedi, because if it's based off of you helping Rey, and it's just like you are the like you're pivotal in the story, but you're just helping really you're helping create this new order and like do all these different things. Like it isn't necessarily a game based off of like obviously Jedi Survivor and this like it is like canon.
Yeah.
This one could be based loosely off of real events. But, like, I feel like I don't need it to be canon. I think it'd be really cool if they did more of a, like, you kind of create your own, like, adventure, like, Jedi game.
There's so many, see, here's the thing, there's so many cool ideas, because, like, I was thinking more of a single-player narrative. You go on these missions to stamp out, like, Sith presence and stuff. And Dark Force users and stuff, like more like Jedi Survivor. But then when you start talking about that, you know, it makes me think like, what if they just did Lothar, like Knights of the Old Republic, but now it's in the future with Rey.
Yeah. And
you're establishing the Order as like an MMO environment. So there's the MMO environment, or it could be a live service game, kind of like Destiny, or it could be.
I think a live service, like, if they could pull it off, like, if they could make a Destiny but for Star Wars, that would be insane.
It's just, I don't even know how you do that. Yeah, if they were to make, like, I don't know, there's so many ways they could go with it. They could go with MMO, they could go with, like you said, open world, just like you create your thing. And that, for me, I just bring up the MMO thing and the live service thing because, like, yeah, it could be cool. Like, you know, with your friends, we don't get a lot of that. But I'm a stickler for single player. And if you know to create your own Jedi or whatever and like do that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But also that you brought something up in my mind.
What's that?
A Mandalorian game.
Oh man.
Yeah, where you're like a Mandalorian from like maybe it's like maybe the plot is happening right when Mandalore is going to be destroyed and you're trying to stop the destruction of Mandalore, and then at the end of the game you die trying to stop the destruction of Mandalore and you die on Mandalore.
Damn, that's depressing, but like really good.
Yeah, depressing, but like a super good story.
Yeah, damn, that would be good.
Okay, that's my new take.
That's my new take.
I take both though. I take both takes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all three. Like we had multiple. Let's do all of them. We're gonna head Lucas Games division. Let's do it.
Oh my god.
I'm Lucas.
You
Lucas
are
Games. I own it. Confirmed. I'm going to change it to Bearded Panda Games. What?
Bearded Panda Lucas Games.
Bearded Panda Lucas and melthemaneater Games.
Girl
And
boy.
girl boy.
Girl boy
Girl
Lucas.
Leander
film. Bearded Maneater Games.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, we've been talking about Star Wars for the last hour.
Yeah. Let's talk about Celeste.
Let's talk about Celeste. So recently, obviously, got my Steam Deck. Love my Steam Deck. Well, I mean, I got it a while ago. But recently, I got into this game that, and if you know me, I love racing and I love platformers.
Okay.
And that is all because I grew up on Mario games.
Yes.
And so I got Celeste, and it is like the challenging platformer that I didn't know I needed in my life until I got it. Yeah. Because I never really played any challenging, like super challenging platformers until this game. Like ones that are like, you know, you're gonna die, and you're gonna die over and over and over and over again. Like whereas like Mario and like Sackboy's Adventure, it's like they do not want you to die. Like it's hard, but not like you die every 2 seconds hard.
They want you to have fun. In the end of the day, it's almost more about, like I've talked about in my Bearded Panda Sackboy Adventure review. I've talked about it. It's about co-op.
Yes, yes, and it's just about having a good time. Where Celeste is like you're having a good time, but also it's difficult.
Yes.
It is so difficult.
It wants that pinpoint accuracy, but not like, but it's still like so doable. I don't know. It's just like. It's almost the perfect like difficulty.
Yes, it really is, and I think if it was any more difficult, I might give up. Because man, I mean, I'm competitive, especially against myself, so that's a lie. I wouldn't give up.
Well, here's the thing: is
it'd be less enjoyable though.
The thing I think that keeps the game going though, besides like, it's so satisfying. They like for a platformer, it's honestly to me one of the most satisfying platformers. Like how the dash works.
Yep.
Like. That in that first like level where you go through like the almost space like space juice
jelly,
the space jelly, like that going through that was so satisfying. Every mechanic that they add, there's always like a I want to do that again. I want to do that again. I want to do. So when you're dying, you're just like, yes, I get to do it again.
Yeah, I also love the story so far.
Yeah, it's like a mental health story.
Yeah, like, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty funny and quirky. But anyways, I am very addicted to this game right now, and I absolutely love it. I play it any second that I can.
And this is big because this is like the big. You want to get back into indie games in the force, and this is like for me, like I love Hades. Like Hades is my favorite.
Hades is fantastic.
Favorite indie game of all time. So far, Hades is my favorite indie game. But it didn't drag me into want to play other indies. I was like, I love this one indie. I'm back to my AAA games.
It's funny because Hades was so good.
It felt like a AAA. It
didn't feel like an indie game.
Yes.
And that's why I think it didn't pull us into indie games. Because we both played that game. We both enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like an indie.
Yeah.
Like they freaking worked their butts off on that game. And it shows because I'm like, I'm playing an indie. Like it was a game. That was a whole ass
super polished
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I feel like Celeste this time it's pulling us in, especially you know.
Yes, and not to say that Celeste is not a whole ass polished game. Celeste is a fantastic game.
But because of its art style, it's
the art style, the soundtrack, the feel. It's the vibe.
Yeah.
And which is what pulled me into it. And one of the reasons it was so hard for me to get into indie gaming, and I talked about this a little bit in our podcast before. One part, was that I didn't have a handheld, or I didn't have easy access to indies that I wanted, and my PC wasn't good enough. But the second token to that was that I love all types of games. I'm such a variety gamer.
Yeah.
Like, I'll play frickin' Animal Crossing, and then 2 seconds later, I'll be playing God of War. Like, I do, like, I'll play anything.
Same here, yeah.
But also, I'm not always in the mood for, like, that cozy, like slow, it's just, like, the slow cozy,
like, almost
cozy
like
game.
the farm simulator games.
Yes, that's not really me. And so trying to find, I was like, I need to find an indie game that's like my gateway drug.
Yeah.
And Celeste, I think, is my gateway drug.
Yes.
Because I've already been like, and it's not to say that I wasn't interested in indies before this. I played Cult of the Lamb before, and I love that game. And I think so, but Cult of the Lamb, I played Cult of the Lamb at a really weird time. I was like 2 weeks post surgery.
Yeah.
Like I was still taking drugs every day.
Yeah.
Like, so there was a reason I think I kind of fell off on Cult of the Lamb. Yeah. But if I picked it up right now, I would enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But Celeste, and I think Celeste was the first indie game that I got on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, I'm not there's a time and a place for me for those slower games.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm one of those, like, I think any game can be a cozy game. I fully believe that any game you play can be a cozy game.
I agree.
Cozy gaming is just the vibe that you like to have when you play. Yes. And, like, so I would consider Call of Duty or Fortnite or God of War or any of those games cozy games.
Yeah.
If you freaking cuddle up in your bed and you're just cozy, you got your cup of tea and you're playing, bashing people's heads in Warhammer Darktide. Like, I just think that any game can be a cozy game.
I feel like a cozy games, there's a level of, like, a mentality of, like, you're not a sweat. You know what I mean? Like, you're not guilty of being a sweat. You're enjoying the experience. I feel like when you're cozy gaming, you're not like, let me do the most optimal thing. You are just, like, enjoying. Like, you're just engrossed in the experience. Yes. You're just like, you just want to play however you want to play, whether it's optimal, not optimal. And, like, I think that's a differentiating factor, at least for me, what I would consider, like, cozy, not cozy. Like, like, games where I'm, like, trying to, like, I don't know, be amazing at, or I'm trying to, like, even, like, single player games, like, when I'm, like, I want to get, like, so freaking good with God of War Ragnarok. I want to, like, be on point. But in other games, with
Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly.
Although Mario Kart's a casual game, that's not cozy for me.
No, it's not
because
cozy.
Because I'm competitive as hell with that
sweaty.
Game. I am so sweaty with Mario Kart.
But, something like you just brought up Darktide. Darktide, honestly, for me too, is like a cozy game. It's just like it's just like we're laughing, like, look, all these people, and like they're shooting them, like destroying all these demons and stuff. Like, it's more relaxing. It's more. That's a stress reliever.
It's how you play the game, what environment,
yes, how you play it.
Like the environment that you decide to play that game in. And so, for me, I needed something that was not slow, like your, stereotypical cozy indie game.
Yeah.
But I loved the art. Like, yes. I was like, man, like, if these indie games were just a little bit more, like, there was a little bit more something there, than just, like, repetitive tasks. Yes. Like, I would be so about it. And Celeste was perfect because it had the art, it had the soundtrack, it had the story, but it also is a difficult-ass game.
Yes, with great, like, evolving gameplay.
Yes, and so that is why Celeste has been my gateway drug to indie games, and I'm so thankful to it. And I have recently found, like, I think I'm going to start getting into more, like, puzzle indie games. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, man, I love puzzles. Oh, wait. There's, like, so many puzzle indie games. Why am I not playing? Like, that one Lego puzzle indie game?
Yes.
Or I guess it's not really an indie game.
That's not an indie game.
But the Lego puzzle game.
It's a smaller game,
it's, like, minimalist. I want to play that game so bad. Because it looks so pretty. Like, visually pretty. And it's a puzzle game. But on the topic of indie games, we wanted to go over, like, so other than Celeste, obviously.
I want to talk a little bit about my history, too.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, say that, like, for me, I have never been really into indie games. I've always wanted to be into them. Always thought it was cool, but then I just never did. And the first couple of indies I tried that everyone ranted and raved about was Shovel Knight. Did not like Shovel Knight. I honestly wasn't a huge fan of the art style. I that's just me personally. Hollow Knight, that's when it was like, okay, wait, I do love this art style. Let me try this out. But it was a hard game, and it was a Metroidvania, and I didn't understand how Metroidvanias worked. So I was so confused playing that game that I never went back. And then after that, it was kind of just like, maybe indies just aren't for me. And I just stopped playing them until Hades. And Hades, obviously, like we said, it gave me respect for indies. It just didn't make me want to play more of them. It's kind of like a Dragon Ball Fighters for its fighting games. Dragon Ball Fighters gave me respect for fighting games, but it didn't make me jump in yet. That was Guilty Gear, right? And so the jumping in point, honestly, is Celeste.
Yeah.
Because also Cult of Land, another thing where I'm like a game that just like somehow it caught our attention and it gave me respect, but I wasn't able to dive in yet. This, even though I haven't even played that much, like it made, now you see me like looking through the indies and I'm like I low-key just want to get one so that I have something while you're playing Celeste. I have a game that I can like start like talking to you about like indies and stuff. And so yeah, we want to like talk about the games that we are looking forward to trying with indie games.
Yes, and some of these games, I think most of the games or all of the games we're going to mention are, they're not currently out yet.
No. So I wanted to talk about games we want to try, and then the games we're hyped for.
We're hyped for. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So if you just, I'm just gonna list off these couple, and these are the games I'm most excited for currently that I've heard a lot about. And so the first one for me is called Crosscode, and we watched a trailer on this.
Yep.
I don't know about the story, but this has some cool puzzles, and it has, interestingly enough, a crazy looking combat system, which is usually not like
for an indie game.
For an indie game, what? Yeah, that's not the selling point, especially when it's like a top down, like
pixely
game that's like, it's hard to describe. It's not like Hades, but it's just like, it almost feels like you store up all these combos and you store up all these like different abilities, and it makes the screen look crazy. It just looks like things are flying around. It makes you feel powerful.
No, the combat looks very addicting and very satisfying.
Yeah.
Like you'll do stuff and you'll be like, you're just so in it because you're like, there's just so much stuff happening when you hit someone, and there's like all the damage that you're doing is everywhere and all this different stuff. Like, it just looks really fun. And I also really like the art style. Yeah,
the art style seems good. I don't know about the story, but another game that doesn't really have much of a story, Rogue Legacy 2.
Isn't that one like built on story?
No.
Well, kind of.
It's not like, really. Well, you have your own story. You have your legacy.
It's your legacy.
Well, I guess that, you know what, that is kind of a story. I could be completely wrong. Maybe this game does have a good story, but yeah, you want to explain it?
Well, I mean, it's basically just like a combative platforming kind of game.
Yeah, it's combat platformer. Every time you die, you get like a new person in your lineage. And so
you can like pick like, I think like they're like a different kind of, person, or like what they do. They have different abilities and stuff like that. And then like you have like this castle or like this helm that keeps getting bigger and bigger and grander as your like legacy goes on, but it's because you keep dying.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really funny. I think that's such a creative way to expand upon like the life-death cycle in a game like that. I think that's really cool.
And I'm interested in it, but I've heard recently it's hard. I heard it's hard. So I'm very suddenly, because I read some reviews like yesterday, and I was like, it made me kind of pump the brakes a little bit on it. It was like, I don't know if I want to.
And platformers and stuff like
I'm not
that,
great.
they're not your cup of tea.
Yeah, so it's like, I'll get crushed. Honestly, I'll get destroyed. Like, you'll be fine.
We play Sackboy Adventure, and sometimes.
Hey, yo, but sometimes you guys didn't see the level on Celeste. This crazy level. She's like, this level's so hard. You know what I said? Confidently. I strode to her. I grabbed the Switch and I said...
It wasn't a Switch.
Oh, shoot. The Steam Deck. I grabbed the Steam Deck. And I said... I don't even remember what I said. I said something cool. I said like
I never lose or something
no.
that.
I said, I know nothing that's hard in this world. So I said some. Okay, it was kind of cringe. I said something like that, and I grabbed it and I was like, first try, this hard ass thing, boom, and you were like, what?
Well, what? Usually because he'll have problems with Celeste and be like, baby, I need you to beat this level for me.
Yeah.
And like, I must have been off it that day because
Oh, the
like,
excuses now.
I'm
She can't even say, "Oh, you did good." She said, "I was off it. That level sucked. That level was easy as hell." Wow, I see how it is. Platformer superiority.
I'm not saying it wasn't hard. I'm just saying, like, I was off it. You know?
You learn new things about your loved ones every day. Every day.
You did great, baby.
Oh, thanks, love.
Thank you for getting through it. But okay, when he says a level, he means like a room. Like,
It was a hard room.
no, but
Of
you're
course,
talking
the
about
level
a
is a
level.
level.
You
That's a
no,
whole level.
you said, but I
Okay.
want to make it clear to everyone. I
Yeah,
did not
I
have
did
him
not
play
beat-
through a whole.
I did not beat a
level
whole
of
Celeste level without dying once. That would be. I would have. I don't even know. I would be screaming into the mic right now. No dying, like
No.
blind run.
It was just one specific like stage or like room that like I could not beat to save my life, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Like, please
Yeah.
beat this. And he did it first try, and I was like, God damn.
So that happened. Where were you going with this?
I don't remember.
The game's good.
Were you talking about
Oh,
Rogue
Rogue
Legacy
Legacy's
2?
hard. Yeah, I thought we were back at the beginning of this segment.
Okay, Chained Echoes.
I basically just heard that was like a really solid RPG, like great homage to the old ones, and like makes it even better.
Yeah.
And then heard so much about this game. Inscription, obviously, as you know.
Did it just come out like today?
Inscription? That game's been out for like a year.
Did it just come out like a year ago?
Yeah, it just came out a year ago. That's kind of crazy, dude. As you know,
I thought I heard Andy from Kind of Funny Games say something about Inscription today.
he just
on,
loves
like-
Inscription.
And so I thought they said something along the lines of it coming out today, and I was like, "What? I thought this game was already out." But then, like, I must have missed. I was at work. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, it happens.
It happens.
You know. But as you guys know, Mel the Maneater on TikTok loves Magic the Gathering, the card game, and so do I. But she has a whole everything dedicated to that. This is a card game, indie game, but it's also a horror game, and it's also like a escape room.
Scary.
And yeah, this looks a little like actually like genuinely like kind of like creepy and yeah, disturbing a little bit. And I just hear like you don't want to go into it knowing anything because the game will just like blow your socks off. So I'm super excited for that to try that out. And these are like the top games I'm considering buying, maybe even in the next like week, like
maybe the next like hour.
Honestly,
the next 5 minutes.
Honestly,
Like,
nice 5 seconds. Actually, watch me buy the game. Is there any games that you want to add on to like games you want to try? Like you don't have to. Like if there's anything on the top of the dome, because we want to get to the hype games.
yes,
the hype
there
games are the real
are.
discussion.
I think a lot of games that I do want to try, but I don't
Okay.
really. I can't like. They're not coming in my brain right now. And so I think I agree with all those games. I really want to try Rogue Legacy 2. Oh man, there's this one that was. It was like this witch game, this like cute like witch game that was kind of not the one you're thinking about.
Okay. I'm dying inside, guys. I'm dying. If you want to know what we're talking about, everyone, if you want to know what we're talking about, go follow us on Twitter and add us if you really want to know. And then that'll show dedication, and I'll actually tell you what it is.
Because yeah, it's just part of the 18 plus genre of games that we were like, oh look, a platformer. Oh my god.
Wow! What the?
Yeah. So I'll just say the first word of the game is.
Don't even tell them. You have to add us. You have to add us on Twitter.
Add us on Twitter, and then we'll tell you what it is.
Hey, what's that game?
And it's something else. It's like this witch that gets like outcast.
Okay.
Like and like stripped of like her titles or whatever, like that, her power or something like that, and she's like going on a quest to earn it back, and I can't for the life. It's on my Steam wish list.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what it's called. And so that one would be awesome to play. Obviously, all the ones we just talked about. I feel like there are more that I have never played Hollow Knight.
Yes.
So that is something I really want to play.
Yeah, you should definitely try the Hollow Knight.
And I think currently that's it.
That's it?
At least for games that are currently out that I really want to play. That can come to my head.
Yeah.
But for games, indie games, I've got like 5 billion indie games that are coming out in the next 2 days that I'm hyped for.
Okay,
Like,
let's try to get the top 5.
okay,
Top
let me get my list out. I got my list.
Oh, you got your list out. Okay, while you get your list out, I'm just gonna say it out there. We all know Hades 2. Done. Hades 2. My favorite indie game. One of my favorite games. Period. Yeah, obviously Hades 2. You got the witches. They looking smoking hot. They looking super hot. Somehow this is tying into Chronos and time, but you got the witchy vibe, and somehow it's still Greek, and it's like so. The story was great in Hades, and I'm interested in how this like woman plays into it, and how they add new abilities, and yeah, there's just a lot of like questions of like, how is this integrating? How is these two witchy and Greek? How are they mixing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Okay, so the first one that I'm the most excited for, and it hasn't gotten as much publicity as I wanted to, mostly because there's not a lot out on the game. I still don't know when the release date is, but supposedly it is this year.
Okay.
Is The Plucky Squire.
The Plucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Plucky Squire. Yeah, that game is like, I swear every time I'm not watching the trailer for it, I'm like, yeah, the game looked pretty good. Then I watch it, I'm like, man, am I hyped for the Plucky Squire?
God, because it's like 2D, and then it's like a combat, and then it gives me really big Cuphead vibes.
Okay, yeah.
And like the way it's not made by the same people who made Cuphead.
And it doesn't look remotely like it.
No, it doesn't. No, and not anime. Like it's completely different.
So what about it?
But it's kind of like there were moments in there that were just very goofy, like kind of old cartoony goofy a little bit. But it's not old cartoony. But oh man, it had like you're on like in a book, like going through a book, and the pages are flipping, and then you come out of the book and you're 3D, and then it's like a Mario 3D world, like oh my, I love platformers.
You're scaring me.
I just really want this game to come out. Like, it looks so freaking good.
I'm glad you're that hyped, but I can't get that hyped, and it can't be that high on my list because I've seen literally like 10 seconds of actual gameplay.
And I have rewatched that 10 seconds of gameplay every 10 seconds.
Every 10. You know those 10 seconds very well.
I do. And it looks fire.
That does look fire. You know what else looks fire?
What?
Humanity looks fire.
Humanity, that looks like a real wild puzzle-like game. Yeah, like, that thing looks so funny.
It's this puzzle game where you have all these bajillion humans, and you have to guide them toward the end of the level.
You're a little puppy.
Yeah, you're a little Shiba Inu, like, glowing white god Shiba Inu, and you guide your humans. It's very hard to describe this game. You guys, everyone
it's like the faithful companion from Magic the Gathering.
Yes, just watch the trailer for it, and it looks great. It looks great. That's actually something that's going to be very hard for me to describe. So I'm just going to say I'm excited for it. Humanity.
Another one that I am excited for are the same people who made, and I still want more to come out in this game to see if I'm still more excited for it. But the same people who made Shovel Knight.
Oh, okay.
Are making that one game, Mina the Hollower.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mina the Hollower.
And so I never played Shovel Knight, but I do like me some, like, platformers.
But it's like a top-down, pixelated, like, platformer instead of a side-scroller. Like side-scrolling.
Yeah, it is top-down, but it looks really interesting.
Yeah.
And so that's another game I'm excited for. A cozy game that I'm excited for. Like, and purely...
You're skipping my turn. Okay,
wait, sorry, go ahead.
I see how it is.
Go ahead!
Man, it's Plucky Squire. Back to you. It was on my list. We talked about it, so back to you.
The next one that I'm excited for is Gordlets.
Gordlet.
We had a whole freaking time and a half the other day trying to tell our friend what this game was called, and we spent like 20 minutes.
It was like Googlets.
We were trying to like describe the game in like
Google.
And I think there's already a game called Ooblets that's a cozy game. And so like we were trying to describe this game to Google, it was not coming up, and we finally found it It's called Gordlets. And it's this
Gordlets.
adorable indie game where all you do is create like this, like from scratch, like this town area with like a little river, a bridge, and all the homes, and then these little almost kind of Pikmin looking fairies come and like live on the island that you're making and like go fishing and like interact with each other. But it's great because there's no cost to build the stuff. And I have an appreciation for Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley and all those other games and whatever. But the idea of just being able to relax and be like, I get to make my own little world. And I don't have to pay Tom Nook $1 million to do it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I can just build, it's completely, the purpose is for relaxing, unwinding, and just world building. And I love that.
And I'm surprised one of those games, I'm sure there are games like that out there, but like more of them don't exist.
Or aren't as like big, you know? Because when I found out about this, I was like, this is a concept I've never heard before.
Because like, I can understand, because like for me, I need an objective when I'm planning a game. I'm not huge on like sandbox games. I'm not, but that's just me. I'm like not huge on Minecraft. If you're just like, here, do whatever, I'm like, I'll do whatever somewhere else. I want a challenge. I want something that they're testing me on and I'm pushing against. And so for me, I like all the little management. I like all the little, these people, like Cult of the Lamb, where it was like, these people, they're pooping on the ground. I need more toilets, but then I use the materials for that, and now they don't have food or whatever it is.
And
right?
then this person wants to eat the poop.
Yeah, like you have this whole like, there's constantly management happening.
Yes. The
only issue with those games is sometimes it just feels like, eventually, once you kind of figure out what you're doing, it's just like, wait, what am I doing here? It feels like there's no end game in sight. Like, where is all this management going to? Like, do I go until I have a perfect society? There's no satisfying ending almost. Like, luckily, Cult of the Lamb, because it has that roguelite element,
there is an end.
There is a satisfying end. And that's why I'm excited when they eventually make a Cult of the Lamb 2. But most of those games don't have a satisfying end, which like keeps me from playing them. But I can see how this, because you're not going into it needing a satisfying ending, you're just like, I'm sad.
You just want to build.
Yeah.
I always want to build a cute little town.
Yeah.
And then what's another game you're hyped for? Indie game.
Next indie game, 9 Souls. So 9 Souls is this Japanese, but like a little bit like
cool.
tech, like not techno. So it's not like neon like Japanese aesthetic. It's just like a tech Japanese aesthetic, but still more feudal. And the art just looks so good on this. It's kind of like, it's a side scroll. It's kind of like a Hollow Knight, but then there's parrying, so there's a little bit more depth to like the combat. Well, Hollow Knight has depth to its combat too. I shouldn't like say that, but I'm saying it has its own depth to its combat, and it just seems super interesting. The art style looks so good.
God,
9 Souls with a SOLS. Guys, go check that out. It looks really good.
You play a little like cat.
It's a little fox.
Oh, it's a fox.
Yeah, a little fox.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, you're like a cute, like kick-ass, like fox, like.
God damn it, he looked
like
cool. He looks so cool.
Ninja-looking samurai. I don't even know. Like, but you're kick-ass, like little fox dude that kicks butt.
Yeah.
And okay, so my next game that I am excited for, I've had like a really big bajillion here. I got to pick 2 more.
Well, my last, or you have it down, or do you want me to say my last one while you pick?
Okay, on the topic of sandbox game, I will say my second to last one that I'm excited for is Tiny Glade. Which is that one that I showed you that's like you're building kind of like a castle, or just like not a castle necessarily, but you're kind of building like this, you're just building.
Yeah.
But it's really like satisfying with the feeling and the noise, and like it's not like Minecraft where it's block by block. It's like you can build stuff fast. And it's just like a really accurate, like you can build like pathways in the grass, and
it's
like
the same as the other is Gordlets in a way, where it's like, but
it's similar.
But obviously it's
a lot more. It's more creative in the sense of like you're building buildings. Like in Gordlets, I don't believe you can build a whole building.
You're just building like a town.
Yeah. Whereas in this one, it's like, you are making the structure of this building.
Yeah.
And it just, and like the movement and it's one of those games. I'm not big on ASMR.
Yeah.
But like, I'm big on the ASMR on this game.
Okay.
Like all of the satisfying noises and like when the bricks move and like expand and like stuff like that. Like I'm so excited for this game. Like and that's the thing. I've never played except for Minecraft. I've never played a sandbox game.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to like this game. Like I just know I'm going to like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very relaxing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal Well.
Animal Well.
Animal Well.
Animal Well.
Animal Well. That is the next game on my list.
Big Mode.
The final game is from Big Mode by Donkey, my favorite YouTuber, Donkey.
Who now publishes video games.
Yes, and soon enough, the first game published is going to be Animal Well, and it looks beautiful. It
looks beautiful.
It looks so like the art style you always get mixed up with like 8-bit, 16-bit, like all that different stuff. But the bit art style of this game looks so freaking good, guys. Go check out the trailer for Animal Well. What I've heard is that there's no combat. And so it's just platforming. It's just like manipulating things in the area. Like there's these like little like capybaras that like you'll like you'll like
capybara.
You'll like bring lights in front of to like move them and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Have you heard that TikTok audio?
No. That's why I was just like.
You were like, what are you?
It just went right over my head. I'm like, I'm in the middle. Now I'm just hearing capybara.
No, it's a TikTok audio. It's like they made it into a song. It's like capybara. Capybara.
My TikTok feed looks like. It looks like Thanos dancing and like twerking. There's no. There's no wholesome audios on my site. It's all just weird shit. You know this.
My audios aren't wholesome either. It's just maybe the audios are. But
you get like.
I'm on the weird side of TikTok. I'm just gonna say it.
You're not on the weird. I think you.
Not like the weird.
You have
weird.
the mixed side.
I got a mixed bag.
Mine's is like sometimes it's the most hilarious thing ever, and sometimes I'm like, why do I have TikTok installed? This is like trash.
Yeah, but but when your TikTok hits, it hits.
It hits different.
Because his is so freaking funny. Anyways, moving on to my last game that I'm excited for.
I'm assuming it starts with the E.
Does it?
That would be a good way to tie this in a big bow.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, if you want to quickly just say the other game.
Other game that I'm excited for is I think it's hold on. It's
you just looked at it.
It's the Gecko Gods. I am excited for the Gecko Gods. All I know is that you're a little gecko going around this little thing, and then you're solving puzzles, and at one point the little gecko rides a little gecko sailboat, and it's the most cute goddamn thing ever. And so I'm excited for the Gecko Gods. Also, to tie this all together, I'm excited for Earthblade. Which is made by the same people who made Celeste, which is what started this whole conversation.
Yes, but
it doesn't come out until 2024. This is the one game on this list that I think is the only game on this list. Don't quote me. Comes out in 2024.
And I really want another trailer for this game.
Yes.
Because obviously Celeste is amazing. It's great, but this game, its trailer did not hook me. It felt like, I swear, every other Metroidvania-y looking like indie game I've seen, and like it looks good. It looks good, but it doesn't pull. Like there's those indie games where you look at them and you're like, oh, the art style. You're like, oh, like that's super interesting mechanic, or whatever it is. You're like, this is like really cool. I want to see like what this team, like how they develop this like little condensed gameplay mechanic or art style, right?
Well,
and this game, there's nothing that pulled me in. And it's all just based off of, it's made by Celeste, so I'm going to buy it. It's like...
Well, and if you look at the trailer that they have out right now, the worst part of most games is their swamp level. And it looks like...
A little swampy.
It really looks like they took you through, like, the swamp level of this game. It's like green and gray and gross and clumpy, when it very obviously, like, from the main character... like, is probably a very colorful, vibrant game. I just don't think they chose the right level to show off, or like area to show off, you know? And so I'm excited for it. It does have Celeste does not have combat in it, to my knowledge. It's just purely platforming.
Yeah.
Like, you can jump on top of some of the dude's heads sometimes, but you're not hitting anything. In this one, you are. And so I think it's going to be. It's still very much a platformer, but I think Celeste is like the giga platformer. I think this one is like 50-50 combat platformer.
We'll see how that fares. I think it could be awesome. I just want a better.
It could be a slapper.
I need a better trailer.
No, I agree. Which is why I just want to bring it up though, because I'm excited for it, and I hope that it does. The new trailers, do provide us with a little bit more like, oh, okay, like this brings me more confidence in the game.
Give me like next, like whether it's Game Awards or it's at some showcase or whatever, the next time I see Earthblade, I want to feel the same feeling I got. Obviously, it can't be the same as the big reveal, but like just the quality of it, the same feeling I got when I saw Hades 2 trailer, where it was like, not only am I so happy that like Hades 2 is happening, but this looks so quality, so good. I want this right now.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I want next time I see
We ain't seeing it at E3.
Well, we could see that the Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo press conference directs.
Exactly. Or Summer Games Fest.
Yep. We basically stopped E3. Let's be honest.
Let's be real here. Okay, so now that we have kind of wrapped up that part of the indie game, we also are like running. This is going to be such a long podcast.
This is actually much longer than our last one. And I'm just saying, like, we're probably just going to.
We're not going to spend much time on this topic.
I want through Mario.
So, for everyone listening, we are going to talk now about the Mario Bros. Movie.
If you want to hear about Peaches, then stay off TikTok because you probably already heard about it.
If you don't want any spoilers about what happens in the movie or about the characters, stay off of TikTok. Yes. Also, we are going to start talking about this movie in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mario Bros. Movie. We watched it last Thursday.
Yes.
And chef's kiss. I absolutely love that movie. Oh my god. As someone who I grew up with every freaking Mario platformer, like, the soundtrack is like the first thing I have to, like, not even the story. The soundtrack is the first thing I have to bring up because they nailed that shit.
Yeah.
They freaking, oh my god, when you see Peach's Castle for the first time and they play like the Peach's Castle theme, the do 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 do, but they made it all like symphony and like beautiful and like, oh my god, I could cry. I almost did.
Yeah.
Like, it was that like nostalgic and just beautiful, and they did it so freaking well.
And obviously a lot of people are feeling this way because it is the highest grossing like initial weekend for any video game movie ever. It's officially the most, like, it's made the most out of any video game movie.
Because what we found out that Sonic was the first, Sonic 2 was the highest grossing. I think this is first weekend. I think that's what we're talking about. Weekend. And so Sonic 2 was the highest, and then this one knocked it out of the park. And it's done so good. And as someone who is like, I love Mario, but I love Donkey Kong more. I like Luigi's Mansion more. I like a lot of the IP surrounding Mario, and like, I haven't really beaten very many Mario games, and I didn't play a lot of Nintendo consoles growing up. This movie was still super nostalgic. It hit great. The vibes were perfect, and it was beautiful.
Like, I'm happy to report, even though I feel like every character had a grand total of 5 lines. The 5 lines that they did say, they delivered. Chris Pratt actually did great as Mario.
I think we all owe Chris Pratt an apology.
Yeah, we do all.
Like, no one, not one. Don't. If people comment on this video, which you should, I do not want one person to be like, well, I knew Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. Like, I knew Chris Pratt was gonna. Shut up.
No one.
If I would, before this movie came out, if I would have been like, oh dear Lord, Chris Pratt's voice acting for Mario.
Well, we were all to be like hyper analyze for some reason, especially Chris Pratt. I guess because he's the main character, but like, no one else got hyper analyzed. But every time the trailer came up for Chris Pratt, a single word. Everyone's like, it sucks. He's gonna be horrible. And then you watch it, and he's like, oh, he just has a good Brooklyn accent. Okay.
Yeah,
it's like it was just fine. It was fine.
I
was
love
like, what?
that they made them like their like trailer or whatever, like not the trailer, but like the commercial that they make for their plumbing thing is like they play into like that their family's Italian, and so they make it like extra Italian for the plumbing thing, but they just are like from Brooklyn.
Yeah, there's like Italian Americans.
They like Italian Americans. But my family, they're my step family.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so funny. So when I was like, you know what, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
And one of the best scenes, like we talked about, just the two of us, was when they first arrive in like the Donkey Kong, like in the Kong area, or Kong Kingdom, whatever it's called.
So you all know, I love Donkey Kong.
He loves
Donkey Kong. I got the bongos right above me.
Donkey
I got
Kong.
Donkey Kong tropical beat bongos. If you are listening. If you are listening, which you probably had a horrible experience right then as I was messing with the mic. If you are listening, I have Donkey Kong bongos above me. And I love Donkey Kong. So that was my favorite scene, was honestly when they first arrived. Super funny. It was like they were driving everywhere, barely falling off the edge. It was the perfect setup for like the kart racing.
Yes.
And just like the beauty of the Donkey Kong area was like.
Also, I thought that the blonde Kong was like the weird like blonde.
Yeah,
like,
the weird
gorilla
blonde
guy
gorilla
that's, like,
was like, what the?
Hop in, and he's got like the
so
sunglasses.
weird.
I was like, what is going on? It was like they like mixed like weird 80s themes into this movie.
Yes, it was
because
great.
like some of the music that they played was all older.
Yes.
And which is perfect because when Mario came out, like you know, like it was great. And it was, oh man.
So it's the animation, great. Obviously, we've talked I'll talk about my one issue after we talk about Jack Black. Obviously,
made this
the
movie.
best part of the movie. The best part, he honestly needed more time in the movie because he was so good in the movie, and he delivered the best song of the year.
Peaches, peaches,
peaches,
peaches,
peaches, peaches.
peaches.
You're gonna be hearing this all month.
Peaches, I love you.
You're gonna be hearing that. You're gonna be hearing that. It's gonna be stuck in your head.
It's been stuck in my head since
we
watched the movie.
There's been 3 times I woke up in the morning. The first thought was that song, and so that speaks to something. And obviously, Jack Black was gonna do a good job. He's over the top. He's so funny. And he's done 3 Kung Fu Panda movies. So obviously
he's experienced.
He's the GOAT of all time. So, anything else amazing? Oh yeah, the end fight scene I thought was actually like weirdly anime and awesome.
It was very anime.
With the star. But is there anything else you want to talk about before I go into my one gripe with the movie?
Honestly, other than like I thought this movie was amazing, and like I love that it was a movie I feel like was made for like, it doesn't matter how old you are, like, and I think I know what your gripe is going to be, which is why I won't talk about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like, so when we were in and you can say whatever you want about kids being rowdy in the movie theater or whatever, but obviously like we grew up with Mario. People who are like 10 years older than us grew up with Mario, or like we're like the OG grew up with Mario,
Yeah.
And like if you are in your 30s or like you grew up with Mario.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, like, oh my god, like we've been waiting 23 years for this movie, you know? And so the fact that I was that hyped, like so ready to see this movie, and there were so many kids in the theater who, they were like maybe 5, 6, and were so about this movie. Yeah. And it's like, they probably have never even played a Mario game before.
There's no way they haven't. Like, you don't think they played Mario?
As a 4 or 5-year-old?
I was playing games back then, so... honestly, I'm being honest. And think about how much gaming... I'm saying the average,
like, we've talked about this, you grew up in a family who played games.
There's even mobile phone Mario games now.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, okay, Cece, like, it took longer for her to get the hold of video games than I thought it would, but that's because, like, we are so in them, it's like, oh, wait, this isn't as easy to pick up as we think. But I'm not saying they've never played one before. I'm just saying, and you're ruining the point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The point.
Oh, I agree with you. Keep going. Your point.
The point is that they still have they don't have the nostalgia yet for the game. They don't have that built up like Mario is my life.
Yeah, they're just like this is cool.
They're like, oh, Mario's a thing. Like, that's cool. Like, we like Mario. Mario's the video game, right? But then, like, seeing how much these kids just adored this movie and, like, them singing the song and, like, you know, getting all, like, hyped and, like, saying stuff in the theater. And then I remember and I love that they made Princess Peach a badass. And I've never had a moment like this before, but, like, there was a little girl to our left, like, maybe 5 seats down. Mm-hmm. And she, right after the movie ends, like, she gets up out of her seat and she goes, like, I'm gonna be like instead of being princess, she's like, I'm gonna be like the Queen Peach. Like, she wanted to, like, be her.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is, like, growing up, I don't want to be like Princess Peach. Princess Peach didn't do shit.
Yeah, she just got stolen, yeah.
And she's got stolen. And so I really love, like, I was like, oh my god, like, wow, it's crazy that, like, doing things with, like, making women characters, not, like, the damsel in distress, like, freaking matters.
And, like, for a long time, I would critique Nintendo about that, but, like, now thinking back on it, like, I like that they started going away from that back with, like, 3D Land. Like, Peach was a playable character, and she was, like, Peach honestly, and Rosalina. She's, like, my favorite playable character in 3D Land because she has, like, you can, like, hover with her. It makes it super easy to, like, platform.
Yeah.
And instead Bowser was stealing, like, these fairies. You know, it was like this different thing. And,
it was different.
And so they let her be, like, her own character. But even though Peach is awesome, Peach is great. Peaches. I love it. But the only issue with this movie that is fine for this movie is this movie needed to be a nostalgic movie.
Yes.
It needed to just nail the vibe of Mario. I love that. But going forward, we need these movies to have a little bit more emotional resonance and a little bit more story.
Yes.
Because you think about, like, DreamWorks, Pixar, just Disney animated movies. You think about just all these other movies. They have more story and they able to make it just as funny and just as much of a joyride while still baking in story and emotional elements into it that leave a lasting impact besides fun and nostalgia. And I'm fine with this movie being what it is and just being a fun romp where it's just going and going and going and going. That's fine. But when the next movies where there's less novelty, less nostalgia,
it's just about Donkey Kong, or it's just about, like, Yoshi, or it's just about
where
Luigi.
the fan base is a little bit smaller because now it's not just the most basic, it's Mario, right? I want to see a little bit of a story there, a little bit.
No, there needs to be more emotional, like, story.
Yeah.
And more time, more lines. Like, it just needs to be a little bit more. And I understand why they didn't do that with this one, because it was basically like the hype train to, we made a Mario cinematic universe.
Yes.
You know? And because it is turning into a Mario cinematic universe, like, which they have, you know, pretty much confirmed. Yeah. With their trailers that happened after the movie. By the way, there are 2 trailers that happened after the movie. Yeah. And if you're sad that I was talking about Yoshi, well, I told you there were going to be spoilers in this podcast. But I agree. I think that one of the frustrating things about, like, with the critics and stuff with this movie is they're like, they are, and it's okay. You're coming from the perspective. They're trying to come from the perspective of someone
no nostalgia at all.
Which apparently,
but that's not this movie.
Exactly, and that's the hard thing. It's like, that's not why this movie was made. Is the crazy thing to me is that, like, there are people out there who have no idea who Mario is.
Maybe I don't think it's not that they don't know who Mario. They know who Mario is. They just don't know.
There are some people who don't know who Mario is.
Yeah, if you're, like, living under a rock, you don't know who Mario is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like,
who never played the game.
Yeah. They just, like, they know of Mario. They know of, like, maybe, like, Bowser. Maybe they don't even know Bowser's name, but they've seen Bowser. They've seen Princess Peach. Yeah. They know Mario maybe has a brother and something about is maybe Donkey Kong's related. They, like, know very general stuff. but they don't know at all how the game plays. They've never
don't know the
played it.
story,
They don't
they
know
don't know.
the story. They don't know any of the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is surprising that there's.
So
It seems
I
like
can
such a
see-
core thing.
I can see why this movie completely taken out of that context, without the context of the games, would not rate very high. Obviously, I'm not one for movie critics. I don't care what movie critics says. All I care about is if I enjoy the movie. Of course, if a bunch of people say this movie is a 2 out of 10, I'm gonna be like, ooh, yikes.
Yeah.
But no, I think this was the perfect nostalgic, like, let's get the fan base hyped for what we're going to make following.
Yeah.
They just need to elaborate further on those specific character stories when they do expand the universe to Donkey Kong movie, to a Luigi's Mansion movie. Like, something, like, those things need to be more in depth.
To close this out, I'll ask you, what movie do you want most?
Everyone is saying Luigi's Mansion,
Yeah.
which I want, but I don't think it's the one I want the most. Okay, but the thing is, the movie I want isn't the one that can happen next, and so I'm okay with that. But
I'm gonna say, what do you want? It doesn't have to.
I
That's
want
what you want, you know?
a Yoshi's Island movie.
Okay.
Which, I mean, they teased the Yoshi's egg at the end of the Mario movie, but like that doesn't mean it. That could just mean Yoshi is a character in the next movie. That doesn't mean there's going to be a Yoshi movie.
Yeah.
But I played the Yoshi's Island game on the DS growing up, and I think it'd be cool if they had some form of story of like, because in the game, like, Mario and Luigi are like brought, like, they, like, a stork has like them, like, the stork is delivering Mario and Luigi to their home, and then like there's a storm, and then the stork loses Mario and Luigi, and then Yoshi finds them. And then Yoshi is like, and then it's basically Yoshi's duty to keep them safe and get them to where they need to go. And like deliver them. And then Yoshi is now the stork. Yeah. And so I think that would be, and they already put Baby Mario and Baby Luigi in the Mario movie. And so I think a Yoshi's Island would be killer.
I think that'd be okay for me.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Well, have you even played Yoshi's Island?
Yeah, I played Yoshi's Island. I like Yoshi's Island. I'm just...
Didn't you say that? No, you said that game gave you PTSD or something like that the other time we talked about it.
This fucking sucked. It fucking sucked. No, but honestly, like, it isn't because... I just feel like there's a lot other movies that I'd rather be made.
That's fair.
That's the only reason. Unless it's a bad movie,
for me,
it's just like there's no
Mario
real
Galaxy.
Mario Galaxy, Luigi's
I want
Mansion.
Rosalina. I want Mommy Rosalina right now.
I want Donkey Kong movie. There's a lot of different movies. I think what I want most is a Donkey Kong movie.
Of course.
King K. Rool.
Oh
just
man, that'd be so good.
It would be so good with Diddy Kong and all different Cranky Kong, all these different Kongs. Even though I didn't like Cranky Kong in the movie, I thought his portrayal was kind of ass. But everything, all the other Kongs, I like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I thought it was funny.
I love Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
And so I think that could be super fun. But that's what I want. What I think makes most logical sense, as like obviously the Yoshi movies next, or like maybe Galaxy, but like. What I think makes most logical sense next is a Luigi's Mansion movie.
And that would just be cool. If they like had a Luigi's Mansion release, obviously not this year, but like next year in like October for like Halloween or something like that, that would be awesome. Yeah, because honestly, like King Boo, obviously, who are the biggest baddies? It's number 1 Bowser, number 2 King Boo, and then it's like I don't even know if King K. Rool is number. No, I guess King K. Rool is like number 3. Yeah.
But King Boo's like, he's in the Mario games and Luigi games, and like he is the ghosts are instrumental in Mario.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of them. And I think like there's already a decent plot in Luigi's Mansion, and so you just develop that more and maybe add Daisy in there somehow. Yeah. Oh my god, imagine if you have Luigi, his dog ghost friend. You can have like the Gooigi. And you have Daisy. Maybe they make it kind of Ghostbusters-ease. So there's
That'd be cool.
Luigi, Gooigi, and Daisy has her own like vacuum thing.
That would be killer.
That could go nuts. And it's like about them working together. Oh, that could I'm more excited, even more excited now. I think it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was it.
I think that's it.
That was all of our topics for today.
Yeah, I think that's all I currently have to say about the Mario movie. It slapped. Go watch it if you haven't seen it already, and if you have watched this far and haven't seen it already, I'm sorry we spoiled you. I told you. I gave you a countdown. I guess just stay tuned for next time for another episode of Girl Boy Games Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on whatever podcasting service that you use, whether it be Spotify or the other ones. I don't remember. Yeah. And if you want to see shorter clips from Girl Boy Games, please go give us a subscribe on YouTube. And give us a follow on Twitter at girlboygamesyt and on TikTok at girlboygamesyt.
Fantastic. Woo! See you guys next time. Bye.